Hello everyone, welcome to a very special Friday night stream-a-rama with Amigo Aaron. Tonight, we're going to kick the tires on this right here, sitting beside me. You're probably asking yourself, what the heck's that, Amigo Aaron? Well, what you've got here, despite the fact that there's no display on it because my power lights are knocked out, but what you've got here is the un-amiga. The un-amiga. For those of you that have not heard of the un-amiga, it is a item sold by Aaron Net, I believe it's called. This was sold in early in the year. I think it's the second batch, and it boasts some interesting specs. You've got a FPGA that is simulating a 6820 24-bit video DAC to VGA output. It's got a mini jack plug for USB, micro SD card reader. It's got a 14-bit 125 audio DAC to output stereo. It's got dual stereo jacks. It's got a stereo jack and stereo RCA jacks. PS2 ports for the keyboard and mouse, or you can use the Amiga's keyboard. And it boosts a whole other range of interesting gimmicks and whatnots. I got a video coming up soon that will detail my adventures with this particular item. But tonight, we're just going to kick the tires and play some games on this thing. Now, a word of warning. As I have experimented with this thing, and it plays fine, but OBS and the game capture device I'm using, which I'm having to run out of the OSSC that was provided me by our good buddy Rushi. This is a shaky capturing area, so there may be an occasion or two where we lose signal and I have to do some shenanigans. So if that happens, it's going to be a short stream, I guess is what I'm saying. I have got my wireless SNES rip-off game controller here, and that'll be what I'm playing with because I like the wireless. And I will say the wireless receiver works great. I should mention this thing has two joystick ports. Hey, what's going on? Our favorite, the Macintosh librarian in house. Anyway. This thing has the two normal ports that an Amiga would have, the joystick ports or the joystick and mouse port. I'm going to be using this PS2 mouse because the Amiga mouse I have are all crap, and so we're going to go with that. So let's kick it off here. I'm just going to play something simple, and then we'll work our way up to something more interesting. They've already installed a nice front end here, and so all we've got to do is basically pick a game. And I'm going to pick as the game right out of the box, and we'll play a couple levels of it. One of my favorites on the machine, Golden Axe. Now, Golden Axe, a great port over, and it should be a good test for the un-amiga. Now, this is running out a VGA port at 31. I think it's 31 kilohertz. This thing runs at 31 or 15. 15 isn't the jack for me, so I'm running everything at 31. I'm not going to bother changing the screen's going to sort of get larger and smaller depending on what we're playing, the resolution it's in, and I'm not going to bother rescaling it here in OBS. That way you can see exactly what I'm looking at here. And I will say the sound live is tremendous. Sounds really good. The colors look good. Normally, when I'm not using OBS and running this through the OSSC, the monitor that I'm using is it's a HP P19A. In case you have one of these things, not all my monitors worked with this. I will say that. This has some interesting features, and I'll get to them in a moment. You can just kind of check that out. I will say my knowledge of the OSSC is extremely limited, and so I was stunned that I got it to work at all. I've been trying for a couple days, and luckily an update to it made it just sort of work. Glorious. But I don't have any sort of smoothing or scan lines or any of that junk. I mean, this is just this is straight feed. OBS, as far as I know, or OSSC is not doing anything to enhance this image. This is exactly what you get. One thing you'll notice on here is, of course, we're running an FPGA, and so as such, you're going to it does things a little bit differently. Of course, you saw how quickly it loaded. It's also going to give you some menus. I'm going to click this right here, and what you've got here is your menus to run through and change things. You've got your turbo settings. I don't have a hard drive or anything on here yet, although my good buddy Rushi's actually working on one for me. Hey, Mr. Kohler, there's the man himself. Rushi, what's going on, my brother? I want to give you a big high five and a thumbs up. Your the open source scan converter was one update away from getting the job done, my friend. And Mr. Kohler, my good buddy, the streamer extraordinaire. Anyway, if you look to these menus, you've got your chipset settings. You can change this from anything between a 68,000 and a 6820, PAL and NTSC chipset. You can go for the Amiga 1000 chipset, the OCS, the ECS, the AGA, and that makes a difference. I've noticed a lot of times that makes a difference. Of course, you've got your memory settings here. You can go up to 20. You can change this stuff all around. The one thing I've noticed on here, I haven't tried any of the filters, to be honest with you, and I'm not going to try them right now just because I don't want to jack stuff up. But the main culprit I've noticed in this, because when I first started playing this, I was having all sorts of trouble. We'll demonstrate one here. One of the problems I was having here in a second. You can kind of see what it was happening. But so far I've managed to play almost every game, and everything I've tried has played well, with one or two exceptions. There are still a few quirks now and again, but for the most part, things have done well. So, and Rushi reminds you, this is a port of Mini MIG. I'm not a. This is the first time I've kind of went into the world of the FPGA. So my knowledge in this area is extremely limited, just from what I've seen on YouTube and the few things I've read. I know I've got friends that have one, including the Mister and the Mist project and that sort of thing. But if you want to, just have a look at the graphics, the sound. I mean, it plays nicely. I will say, and I haven't really like I said, I haven't really done any rescaling here in OBS. So one thing I've noticed, again, having never had an Amiga hooked up to a VGA monitor, not like this. I mean, I've got an HDMI set up on my Amiga 1200 with a SCART cable, but this is a this is a whole different world here. The monitor I've got is a real good monitor, but it goes through all kinds of crazy borders. I mean, some games will play almost completely full screen on the monitor, and some play in a bordered screen. So I'm happy that it plays everything. So far, there haven't been a game that it wouldn't pick up. And of course, being in America, I've seen things at the bottom of the screens that I haven't seen for quite a while. I was playing Gods earlier, and the little messages that come at the bottom of the screen, I was like, wow, I forgot those actually came up, because we never see them here, because we never see the bottom of the screen. So we're going to finish this level off, and then we'll move on. I like the fact that the WHDs, I mean, this game's a lot easier when you have a magic button. Oh, I should mention, amongst the, of course, the Amiga 500 we went with here is, it was not good. It's not good. And so, and that's why it was a perfect donor. Alright, the motherboard was jacked up. I'm going to restart this. The motherboard was jacked up, and it had issues. I don't even need to go that route. Let me just hit F10. So amongst the issues it has, you'll notice that the power and the activity light don't work. I've also found out that the space bar doesn't work. I think one of the Amiga keys also doesn't work, but don't hold me to that. So I'm gonna have to get this sucker out and give it a good hard cleaning, or just pick up a new keyboard, which would be funny, considering I spent the money on this just because I was cheaping out and wanted to put something in the case. Go ahead and buy a new keyboard for it. Now, I want to show you some of the differences, and I'm sure for those of you that are, yeah, it's a whole new world, Mr. Cola, pal. Anyway, the differences in what will happen when something doesn't run right. So I'm gonna one of the first things I ran. The first thing I ran, of course, was Lionheart. But the next thing I ran was one of my favorites, just because I love the opening, which was Blood Money. Now, this is running just in standard mode here. I haven't fooled with any of the settings at all, and we'll see it go. I hope this is sounds. Everyone in the chat, does this running halfway decent, and can you hear okay? It's hard for me to judge the levels given my weird hookup here. It's precarious. Now listen to this music here. You hear that? You hear the music there? It's missing. It's not right. Right there. There should be samples coming in right there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go here, and this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. We're going to go to chipset, and we're gonna back this thing down to the ECS and then restart, and hopefully it will come back on. Oh, you can't. Can you guys not hear the audio? I'll turn it up a little bit. So we're gonna go back through here and back to Blood Money. There we go. Let me turn that up a little bit, guys. Okay, I've turned it up some so you guys can hear it. Now, notice I have changed the I've changed the chipset to the ECS chipset here.
First, there was Menace.
You can see
now,
the OC
Psygnosis presents
the OSSC
a
resyncing
DMA
there.
design game.
Can you guys hear that a little bit better? Now listen to the music.
The biggest unanswered question is where.
And there it goes. It's playing properly now. That's an example of what I was talking about. Something else I noticed when I played this in AGA mode was that the bullets were glitchy, on down the line. So, what does that mean? I don't know. I've played this on my 1200. I don't recall having any issues with the music or glitchiness on this game. We all know that some ECS AGA incompatibilities exist, but I don't know. I can't tell you game by game what they are, frankly. But I don't recall this one, and I'll show you a couple more as we go that I've ran across. But for the most part, that is your main fix. To be honest with you, give you a little taste of this. This game I've always enjoyed, but man, it's a tough one. I will say it's funny, the gamepad, listen, I hate to say it, because I'm a joystick guy from way back, but man, the gamepad made a world of difference in my ability to do well at these games. I'm so glad I got the wireless adapter. I really should, that wireless adapter is great. I should be plugging the guy that sells those things every time I get on here, and I can't ever remember this website. I'll put it down in the show notes. If you're looking, and I know there are other people that sell these little adapters, but I mean, if you're looking for something that's got compatibility and gets the job done, this thing really does a good job. And also, the good thing is it works on my Coco, it works on my Atari XCGS, and it works on my C64. So it doesn't work on everything. Die. Oh, son of a gun. You can see my skills aren't up to snuff. Yeah, Mr. Carr likes this game. I'm not surprised, because you're a stud at these sorts of games. Some of us just aren't that good. We'll go ahead and pick a couple things up here. Okay. Now, it's funny. I usually remember, I could be wrong there, but it seems like whenever you spend your money, there's a chime. I didn't hear a chime there. Now, I've got the volume turned way down because I don't want the mic to pick it up, but that could be something else. The funny thing is, I don't know how many of you guys that are watching watched the Amigos show tonight, and I kind of went into the story of this card. When I got this, and I'm not going to go fully into it, but when I got this, it wasn't functional. It had graphical errors. it came up with a blue tinted screen. Everything was blue, and so I talked to Edu. I think his name's Eduardo or something. He's Spanish fellow, nice guy. And I asked him what to do, and he said, "Listen, it looks like you've got the wrong resistors installed. You've got 75k ohm resistors when you should have 75 ohm. Which, if you know anything about electronics, that's 4 resistors. That's a major difference. That's not like you're off by 100 or 50 ohms. That's 1,000. That's a huge difference." And that made me a little bit concerned. We're gonna try something else, fellas. First thing we'll do is we'll switch it back. Now, I've noticed on a few times that I can't get this menu to come back up. I don't know why that happens, but it's something I have noticed. So what I usually do here is just load configuration, and we just load the default, and then it'll start over. So anyway, I changed the resistors. Okay, this worries me. Let's hope it comes back up. There it goes. Yeah, that's so. Anyways, Del Morte's buying an A3000 and a 600 today. You're a lucky boy with toys. Anywho, long story short, I had to reflow the DAC chip, the video chip, because it had been put on kind of cockeyed, and that did the trick. There must have been at least one or more pins that were loose. But the moral of the story is, as I've went through and played this, I hope the things I'm seeing are just standard things, because if there were incompatibilities or glitches that were caused by anything else that's wrong with the board, or maybe a pin that I didn't see, I wouldn't know, because my experience with the chip, the FPGA in general, there's no way for me to know. So it's a haunting feeling. I'll be honest with you. It drives me bananas. Let's look at an AGA game. Let's try Banshee. How about Banshee? And we'll give this a whirl. Now, of course, AGA may not be Boat's favorite, but there were some good stuff there, and the Banshee was one of the best AGA games released, I thought. So we'll see how this one goes. And you can see the OSSC had to sync that. Now, I should mention, I am using the open source scan converter to capture this footage, but I don't need it at all, just output to this VGA monitor. Now, your mileage may vary on monitors, but this one has worked for me perfectly. My main monitor worked. I've got other monitors. This one back here did not work at all. It couldn't sync down or up to get it. The signal this thing puts out is a real bizarre. It's like 640 by like 399 or something like that. It's just a real weird. It's real strange. And whatever the OSSC's doing, until I updated it, it couldn't handle the signal either. But after the update I put on it today, it's handling the signal. So all that said, let's get in here and kick some butt. That looks good. Can you put this on? Please, God, don't kill me. Good enough. Alright. This was a really neat game. Yeah, I will say, Edu, I don't want to mispronounce names, is a real nice guy. And he got to me real quick. But, like I was telling Boat, and if you buy one of these kind of real boutique, like one-of-a-kind products. I mean, I looked at this product when it came into mail. It had all the people that paid for this round's names on it. I didn't count the names, but there could have been more than, say, 25 names or so on there. And they did another batch of these. I don't know how many are on Earth, but there can't be that many. I mean, if you look on YouTube, there's practically no footage of these things in action. And the footage that is there is a year old or more. And so I thought to myself, well, you're on your own. Now, luckily, I know 2 people that have these, so I can at least bounce some ideas off of them. And that's just fortunate for me. But for the most part, if you're going to buy something like this, you got to be prepared to kind of go into the wilderness, because you could be left out to dry. I had to pull a loopy there. You know, I like this game, but it really is a stark kind of brownish game. You can't blame the card for, or the un-amiga for that. It's just a very, the colors on this are just, it's just a very brown game. I know they were going for a certain motif, but I would have liked to have seen a little more colors. It would have also been nice if the ocean was animated. But I mean, you know, I guess maybe we're asking too much here. But it, shoot, dadgummit. It is a fun game though, and with a wacky sense of humor. Okay, Rushi just told me that the original batch of these was 12 people. So let's say on the planet you've probably got, oh, you know, 12 plus, you know, under 50, let's say. So, but you know, I will say this because I don't want people to think I'm burying it, burying the un-amiga, because as you can see, I mean, at least from what I've played, I've had 2 solid days of playing games on it. I played a lot of it today. This thing is great. Now, let me preface it by saying this: I cannot tell you that this is the thing for you if you do anything wacky that I don't do. I don't do anything but play games. Anyone that knows me, I load this thing up and play games. So on my actual Amiga, I will actually occasionally load up some MP3s or mess around with something a little more technical. But on this has one purpose: me play game now. And with this little front end that was included with all the games, which I've heard of this front end, is quite good. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I want something that's the equivalent of a multi-cart. I want to just load up the games. I want to be able to control with the joystick and practically never have to touch the keyboard. And I want to play all the games, and that's what it provides me. I don't mind having to switch between chipsets occasionally because, listen, this is the Amiga, and if anyone has been in the game for any length of time on the Amiga, that's just the way it is. You're switching kickstarts, you're switching chipsets, etc., and so forth. And the good thing is, that's one thing I haven't had with Kickstart at all. I haven't had to do anything crazy. Now, not every WHD game has a WHD program, obviously, but this also supports you know, hard drive files and virtual floppies, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it can pretty much cover the bases. Now, let's try something else here while we're chatting. Let's talk about, yeah, I agree with you, Del Morte. Let's try to find something that's a little more colorful for the AGA chipset. I'm trying to think of something really. Oh, you know what's great is there's a really good fighting game that's AGA. Let me see if I can find it here. It was, let me see here. I'm pretty sure it was an S game. Let me see here. Help me out, guys. Do you remember that really cool Spirits? Something Spirits. Fighting Spirits. It's an F game. My bad. That's the way my brain works. So yeah, this is it right here. Let's have a look at this. This is I thought this was the best fighting game on the Amiga, bar none. Let's talk about mounting this thing. I've never seen one of these in a box. Every one of these I've ever seen on YouTube or pictures were always just laying out. But I would have mount mine in the Amiga, so I bought it. It fits the Amiga. Well, it fits it with a butt, and the butt is. You have 2 choices, I think, when you're putting this in. You can mount it without the metal bracket, the metal shielding that your motherboard sets it. You don't need that. The problem I had was I had no way to attach the board to the case. There aren't really any places to attach it. I mean, so you could do some kind of gimmick, you know, which normally I would do. But I decided that I wanted to use the metal bracket, the shielding. I wanted to use the metal shielding to set my board on, attach it to the shielding, and then stick it in. Well, and I did do that. But you can't do that without cutting the shielding in certain areas. I noticed that when I installed this, the mouse port, the PS2 mouse port was covered. And you had to snip out part of that. You also have to snip out a part of oh man, Roby. If only it was the Roby from the old Friday the 13th the series, if you remember that. Man, I thought she was beautiful, beautiful redhead. But anyhow, you have to cut out an area for the PS2 mouse. You also have to cut out an area to get your SD card in and out, because it mounts to the back. And both those are not accessible if you've got the metal shielding on without cutting it. And so I figured on my clunker Amiga, since I was going to pitch the shielding, I had the choice of pitching the shielding or cutting the shielding, so I cut the shielding. You really can't tell any difference when it's in the case. It's just that you couldn't access the ports if you didn't cut the shielding. So I cut the shielding on mine. And then once I cut the shielding, it went in quite nicely, actually. I didn't have any problems, but I mean, that was an adventure in itself, I have to say. Let's give this a shot. Shadowfire gets a lot of height, but this right here is your clear winner. I mean, for God's sake, you could be a lion or a tiger or a dragon. You know me though, always use the girl. Let's see what we got here. Okay, Tong Li. You know, it's funny, CIA agents often swim with the dolphins. Holy smokes, look at that outfit. It's hard to believe that a girl that is so beautiful would need to even work for the CIA. She could just be a model and whatnot. Trying to catch up on the chat here. Oh yeah, thank you, Don't Morte. Well, I wouldn't call what I did a mod. I'd call it a mar. It was sketchy, just put it that way, but it had to be done. Get it in the case. I will say, once I've got it in the case, it is nice. You know, it's almost like just having. I mean, for me, it's like having almost like a really cool console. Here we go. Let's see if I can remember anything here. Oh, now most people would think you were crazy for playing a fighting game with 2 buttons, but if you're an Amiga owner, you know how that goes. Oh no. I gotta figure out her techniques here. Oh, look at that! Oh! This guy's crushing me. Oh no! I could not back away. Now, I don't know how that comes across on the stream. But this is the first time I've actually got to look at the. I mean, really sit down and look at this thing on the big screen, and I have to say, I am impressed. Gosh, I should have put this on Brain Dead. I don't know what to do any of her moves. Gosh, I can't do anything. This guy's on me too. Dadgummit. There you go. We'll try one more. I'm gonna play the tiger guy. That's cute. I think most people would be okay to just mount this into the case if they didn't want to. If they wanted to, you know, not mar their shielding. But please, somebody else. Oh, good lord! Any guy with a monocle, you know you're in trouble. If he's wearing a monocle, you got problems. Look at that grin, too. He's got no neck. I've had good times. I've had really good loading times. I've had... oh, crap. Everybody's got animal moves. My chick can do nothing. I have, like I said, for the most part, everything seems to move well. Yeah. There you go. Hey, I would be interested if anybody in the chat. Oh man, this is old. The trade center's behind the Statue of Liberty. I'd be interested in the chat. Anyone that are really intimate with the game that I can try, that they might spot things that I wouldn't see. If there's any, I'll take any requests you've got. If there's anything you'd like to see run on this, I'd be more than happy to do it. I've ran a lot of games, but of course it's stuff yeah, no kidding. It's stuff that I'm obviously pretty familiar with, and I've seen little to dissuade me. I should mention that I believe I paid... Oh, jeez, what did I pay for this thing? 125 euros. in January. I don't know what euros are going for now. In terms of against the dollar, I'm guessing that's about $150. I believe that's including shipping, as I recall. I can't remember it, to be honest with you. I'd have to look that up. But that's pretty cheap. In the States, you could probably get an Amiga 500 for that, but you probably couldn't even come close to getting something in the ballpark of a 1200. Let's try something else here. Let's see what we can find. What's got really good? Oh, I know one. Here we should try. There's one here you can always tell with the graphics on it. I can always tell if it's being emulated or not. Let me see if I can find it here. B-A-T. Here it is. Gosh, I'm blind as a bat. Battle Squadron. This one also sometimes gives you have trouble with the shimmer effect on it. If you've ever played this on the Sega Genesis, what a disaster! I don't know what they were smoking that week. Horrible version of this. This is way better. You can't beat the Amiga, man. All right, so let's check out now. What to look for in this is the bullets. If the bullets have are odd, I mean the round bullets the enemies throw. If they have sort of a bluish color, see how that is right there? That's not quite right the way it looks. If you play this on an actual Amiga, they just look a little bit different. I've noticed it time and time again. It could be an AGA thing. I might turn on the. See how they kind of flip the green? I might flip on the. Change the chip to ECS and see if it did it. Let me do that. I've been told that the 6820 FPGA in this runs fast. I mean, it seems to run faster than a proper ECS 20. I probably, from my recollection, maybe that's true. I'm going to switch this over to ECS and we're going to reboot. I want to see if that changes that discoloration. Look at these menus. So we're going to go. You can see there your choices. OCS 500, OCS 1000. You got the ECS. We're going to go to ECS. We'll restart it. Yeah. Yeah, no kidding, Rishi. You know, I was playing Golden Axe, and it's also got sound and sound effects and music at the same time, too. I mean, it's not... So, there you go. I'm surprised Boat's not in here yelling at the top of his lungs. So we're going to try that again. Just want to see if you can tell any difference with the bullets on this. This is a personal thing. It's always something I've always caught. I always thought Battle Squadron had pretty cool tunes as well. It's a fun game. It's not very. I'm not what I would call a big shooter guy, but I'll play one now and again. So let's give this a whirl here. So again, we've switched over to the ECS. I don't know if somebody can tell us why there would be a difference. Why that would make a difference exactly. And okay, now do you see? Now I still see the tint of green on there. Could be also just in a much higher res. It's really hard to tell. You can see on this game as I go around, there's screen tearing, which is probably where you use the open source game converter to do some of this magic, which I don't know the magic, so and I've hesitated. I literally got this working at the 11th hour, so I'm hesitated to go in there and fiddle with it, but I'm sure maybe I can learn enough to get something. But it still looks good. I'm playing this on a massive screen and like resolutions it was never meant to go to. But it moves well, it plays well. I think the sound is really good. I think that they've done an excellent job whatever they've done with the sound. I mean, it is nice and vibrant. Let's see these shimmer effects here. Come on, you guys. I saw a couple of them come out. These shimmer effects are really, I believe, as I recall reading, that these were sort of unknown techniques at the time. Sure. Oh, Joe the Zombie. I didn't know you snuck in, Joe. Good to see you, my friend. I've seen you for a while. Yeah, that's next on the docket. Now, I will say, playing it might be interesting. Like I said, I don't have a space bar, and I don't know which of my keys work or don't work. So, but we'll definitely fire it up. There's the shimmer. Look at that. It looks good too. It looks good. That's a really cool effect. That cloaking. Cloaked right into me. That bug. Let's try Pinball Fantasies here. Let me reset the. Do you want the ECS version, or would you like to see the AGA version, Joe? That's your call, my friend. I will say I do like the ease of use on this. That makes me. It makes it a lot more fun when you don't have to go. Shoot. Yeah, I did it right. ECS, okay. Well, welcome out of hibernation, my friend. Although maybe if you'd poked your head out of your cave, you might have wanted to hibernate for a couple more months, given what's happened recently. So, we're going to give this a whirl. I don't know where you guys are all at in the world right now, but in America, the 4th of July is nary a week away. And all my neighbors, my idiot neighbors right here, blowing up firecrackers. So if you hear a earth-shattering kaboom, that's what you're hearing. Let's see, you wanted Pinball Fantasies regular. All right? Let me see here. Yeah. So we'll see how we do here. I'd say I've not tried this one, so we'll see how it goes. If it doesn't run right, we can switch to ECS, and we'll see if that works. This thing's got great sound. Yeah. Gosh, that's looks good. Sync up. Now it's syncing again. Okay, I like Party Land. Let's try that one. See if this thing works. Let's see if I can. To be honest, I can use a joy for this, but I don't think I can. So we'll do the best we can. Looks like I'm going to shift out too. Great. Keeps getting better. I'll keep it as long as I can, my friend. Not so long. I will say it looks like it's running quite nicely. I'd like to be able to change my surely they put in more buttons for that flipper than just the one. Let's see if they put the other ones in. I'm hoping to give my keyboard a good cleaning, and then that'll take care of it. Looks like that's the only one. Well, I'll kick it up in there again for you, Joe. Yep. Now you know why I haven't played pinball. I haven't had the chance because I knew one of the flippers wasn't going to work. Now, of course, I could hook a PS2 keyboard up to this thing. I could dig one up. What do you think, Joe? Is this like it's running pretty good to you, my friend? Or are you just laughing at me because I only got one freaking button? I'd be interested to see on your thoughts. I mean, to me, it seems like, this is a game I'm pretty intimate with, and it seems to me like it's running very fine, nice and smooth. The guys that did these games were they were wizards. They were geniuses. Demo programs. I believe they were from gosh, one of the Scandinavian countries. Is it Denmark or the Netherlands or Norway? Whoever they were, I can't. It's been so much of a tough for this game. I can't recall. Yeah, let's try something else that we can actually play. I'm trying to think. What's the highest? Oh, there's one thing we might as well get this out of the way. Let's go ahead and do this one because this is one people are probably going to want to see. We'll watch the opening here and we'll see what we think. Yeah. Oh, great game, man. Hey, Picard. Make it so, my friend. Glad to see you in here. You're my good luck charm. Now, it's funny. We just played Elite on the show, and man, this is better. It's a lot easier to play, in my opinion. Okay, Rushi, we'll give that one a whirl too. It could just be, I will say one thing, fellas. A lot of you guys know me pretty well. I think most of y'all are regulars. Some people will buy a product and they will fall in love with it despite its shortcomings because they spent all this money on it, which is understandable. I'm not that way, sincerely. If I think something's crap, I just choke on it. I choke on the money and tell you the way it is. And of course, clearly, I bought this with my money, and I haven't kicked the tires on it enough to have a total opinion. But I will say, from what I've played of it, I think it's a really nice piece of kit. I think that Edu needs to double down and on his manufacturing process, because if you've got 75k ohm resistors where a 75 ohm resistor should be, and you've got loose pins on your DAC, what that is quality control, post solder, that sort of thing. I'm assuming these boards are, in fact, I know they're made in China, and of course these boards are manufactured during some of the worst crap that the world has seen. And so I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt and assume that the majority of these boards are fine. And everyone I've talked to that own one say they are. So it does irritate me that I had to go through and solder these things to get it to work. But if you take that out of the equation, you get one of these in the mail and it works. You've got a pretty nice unit for $150, in my opinion. Especially if you've got something to put it in. There are plenty of bad, beat-down Amiga 500s lying around, much like this one. And for something like this to come along that lets you use them in some capacity, and the ease of use on this, I mean, this trumps the PC emulation software, frankly, for me. It's sort of the best of both worlds. You still get to use your same joysticks, you still get to use your same keyboard and your same case. People have their own opinions on the FPGA. In my opinion, has wavered up and down over the years. But whether you think the FPGA is basically emulation or you think it's basically the real deal, for me, it's close enough, and it's convenient. Convenience is a big part of how I operate because I want to play games and have fun. I don't want to struggle. So, there you go. I don't know, how did you guys think that ran? Did that seem to me? It looked like it ran pretty crisply, frankly. But I'd be interested to hear what you guys thought on the opening there. Rushi wants to have a look at Defender of the Crown 2. That's an obscure title. I played a full game of Archon 2 last night, and I've never played Archon on the Amiga. I don't know how that. I played Archon 2. But man, Archon, or if I'd played it a bit a while, gosh, the Amiga version is real nice, a real fine version. These are both really good. If you haven't played Archon, man, put those on your list. They're real fun games. Let's see here. And by the way, I hope I've got this, Rushi. I don't know. I didn't put these on here. It looks like I've only got Defender of the Crown 1. on that one. So sorry about that one, my friend. Anybody want to see anything in particular? If I've got it, I will say, let's have a look at this. This is Dragon's Lair, the original. And I bring this up for a reason, because it doesn't work. This is one of the only games I've found that just straight up does not work. And I don't know, it's been a long time since I tried to play this on the 1200. And it's funny, I don't remember my version of Dragon's Lair looking like this or opening like this. But, my memory ain't great. So, it should stick right here. Ah, okay. Well, that's weird. Now it's working. I tried this game about 7 times the other night. How bizarre. I don't have an explanation for that. That is strange. I don't know why that worked. That is bad, but well, there you go. When I tried this the other night, it just locked up. Man, isn't that sword and then right? Somebody help a brother out here. This board's not in the arcade, so I never play it. What for me? Oh yeah, my quest that ended. I'm gonna try it again. Well, I guess I can say I've played no titles that don't work. Try it one more time. For any of you guys that were here for my Laserdisc show stream, this is humiliating. There we go. Run, dirt. I can't tell you how much this blew my mind back when I first saw it on the Amiga. Because I never thought you get to put this at home. Oh, yeah, cute Picard. What a smut head. I got it, man. Oh, wait a minute. I can do this again? I'm already in the castle. They must have heard you. Oh! Run, you idiot. Alright, here we go. Oh crap. I hate this board. Please don't make me do that again. Oh! I'm not sure what it wants. Okay, screw that. Okay, fine, it works. That shut me up. Oh, listen. Let's talk. Let's get to the big leagues here. Let's give this a whirl. Oh, come on. Come on, Del Martes. That is a great game. That was a technical achievement for the Amiga, man. Now, I'm going to wimp out here. Hey, let's see how many of my letters will work here. A, R, yeah. Bam! Beautiful. Good. Let's just go to the first level here. I suspect this is going to be great.
Marks. Set. Go.
Ah! Punk. Yeah. And it's weird playing this with a gamepad, I can tell you that. Here we go. You notice the chatter goes down. Whatever. This game requires maximum concentration. How's this look to you guys? Does it look like the speed's up to spec? Is it running too fast, fast enough? The sound? Like I said, most of you guys are real seasoned Amiga guys, and should you would know the difference. That's not bad. Look at that. If only they could have used this engine for Outrun. Or for pretty much every Amiga racing game should have used this engine. Or they've used this engine for more. Wasn't nearly enough. I probably should try out like a flight simulator or something. By my standards, I'm having a pretty good run here, fellas. Oh! There it was. I should have said nothing. Punk. And if I was driving a car like this and the guy gave me the business from the side, I would destroy him. I would... In America, they'd get you shot. Oh! I think I'm okay. On the inside, suckers. Oh, oh, come on, hug the curve. Come on. How can it be so tight? I thought I was doing so well. Come on, give me the gate. Yes! Ha ha ha! I gotta make up some time now. Oh yeah, this is smooth as silk. It always was. Oh! Come on. When you get that close, there's no room for errors. Nice. Come on. There it is. I made up a second. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard sledding to this next part, though. Oh God! Oh, I knew it. Would you get off me? You're hosing me big time. Oh, get out of here. Who puts rocks? What kind of roads they got over there? Oh, oh man. I don't think I'm going to make it this time. Come on. Give me the gate. No! Oh. Come on, Joe. I only had one joystick. Or one button. Yes, I did hear about that, Picard. Sometimes that's what you get, by the way. I like that, fellas. I thought that ran pretty well. That looks like it ran pretty darn well from my vantage. Exile AGA, eh? Okay, I don't know if I've ever heard of that. Doesn't ring a bell. It seems like everything you want to play isn't here, Rushi. Because that's two you that haven't had. Let me see here. I'm trying to think what I can play that would have. Let's try. Let's see how Wings plays. It's sort. It's got it. It's. Let's try this one. See how it looks. I'm sorry. Hey, listen. You know we can put. Hey, we can put whatever we want on here. I'll be more prepared next time. I haven't doctored. I haven't monkeyed with this image. I don't know how big an SD card you could put in this thing. It wasn't really brought up, so I can see we can put a decent size one in here. Just add old Waldo here. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Join squadron. Waldo. There we go. Oh, test drive 2. By the way, I'm glad you mentioned that, Picard. That's another one I found that has glitching in it unless you turn off the ECS or turn on the ECS. That's another, because that's one I tested, and yeah, we'll look at that one next, and it runs great. We got time for a few more. Yeah, I will. If they're ready to go, I'll give them a shot. I have not delved into that world. I haven't had a chance. Like I said, I had this thing working for about 48 hours. Here we go. Whoops, sorry, I shot my own guy. Look at that. Okay, I can tell you right now, this is sweet. This thing is really cooking. It is very smooth. If you ever played Wings on an OCS, ECS machine, or this is playing better than it does on my Amiga 1200. I will say that. I mean, in terms of, it is smooth and fast. It feels real good. I always thought this was just one of the best games. There he goes. Because it gives you, I like games that have like mini games in it, and this gives you a real good selection of games to fly your ship, your plane. It looks like you picked them off, and that is nice. Let's get close here and zoom in a little bit. That I have to say that is nice. Tornado, that's the name of the game? Let's try it. See if that's in here. That gets a thumbs up, though. That looked fine. Well, of course. It's not in here either. This may be a cunning ruse to get rid of all the games that might show you anything. I noticed that Wing Commander is not here either. So, let's try. I'll show you a test drive since you asked. Now, I'm going to load it up here with the AGA on. I do love this front end. I like this right here.
Accolade
yeah.
presents.
It's classic. Hear the sounds, a little weird. Wait till you actually start the game here. I had the best run on this the other day. Look, see the background? See that flashing? Anybody know if that does that on an AGA machine? Is that, I don't remember. I've played these on my AGA machine. And I don't remember having them. I don't remember having this problem. I mean, look at that. That's heinous. So what we're gonna do is drop over here, and we'll just change that chipset, man. Back, restart. Yeah, man. See? Okay, good. That's what I thought. Picard says it works perfectly on his 1200 with the 030. That's how I remember it. I don't remember having any trouble with this one. So I don't, again, not being a FPGA guy, I don't know what that means. You know, why it acts weird like that. Now, especially with the sound, like in Blood Money and this one, the sound, you can tell the sound and the theme was kind of jacked up. You know, it's odd that it happens, but I don't know. Hopefully, when I put this video up on YouTube, someone can fill me in. Now you can listen to the sound now.
Accolade presents.
Yeah. I always thought that was so awesome. And I love that too. Just that's just style for the sake of style. It really gets you in the mood. All right, so let's give this now. We're gonna load it up here. guess what? The background looks perfect. No problem. This game was when Test Drive 1 and 2 appeared. I mean, you gotta. I've been playing stuff like Pit Stop and stuff, and this thing shows up. I'm like, holy cow! It's like driving a real car. My biggest problem this level is driving past the gas station. I always forget to stop. Plus, what other game can you play where you hit a family of 4 in a van and you can see the little faces sticking out? It's always seared into your memory. It's like, whoops, there they are. Yeah, this feels pretty much the way I remember it. I mean, because this was never what I would call a snappy game. Even on the PC, it was the same way. I mean, the Amiga version, by the way, crushes the PC version. I played the PC version a lot, but I always liked this one more. There we go. Very good. Okay. Well, we're going to try one more. Let's see. What should we try? Try a little bit of everything. Let's see here. They got a pretty good selection on here. Let's try. Let's see here. I'd like to play something that's a little taxing. Let's try something like this. Not the best game, but certainly a detractive game. And we'll see what this looks like with the AGAs. I think that I left the ECS on, so we'll see how it looks. This was an AGA game anyway, so ooh, reflections. This game, the music, of course, I don't tell anybody. The music in this is awesome. It's so good. And the opening. It oozes deluxe paint. That's cool. Yeah. Funny, I had a hacked copy of this, and some of the they edited some of this intro, and so it was years before I saw this full intro. Yo, yeah. Are they back up for order, Joe? I think I figured he was going to do another round. Yeah, these do. I should have mentioned that. I'm glad you said they. Oh no, I guess not. These do fit the. These are made to fit the checkmate cases. So if you've got a checkmate, yeah, that's the sellouts from when I ordered it. He hasn't put any more up. Yeah, a couple things I should mention. Like I said, it does fit. It does have headers and stuff specifically made for the checkmate case. So if you've got one of those cases, although frankly, if you've got the money, I thought about getting one of those, and it was so expensive. And God bless them, they're great cases. I mean, this thing was way out of my price range, fellas. You're talking, I mean, just to get everything you need to get up and running, you're going up over the $500 range. If you're going to spend that much money on a checkmate case, I'd probably put something in a little beefier than one of these things. I mean, heck, I'd want to put in, I don't know what I'd want to put in it. But I mean, they do fit, so that is an option. All right, let's see how we looking here. This is a game of absolute death. Get out of there. The scrolling's looking pretty good. Man, don't go fishing in that lake. Ah! One of the few games I've played where having the indestructibility set doesn't guarantee you any success at all. Acid. Whoops. Edu also has demonstrated. I love this. I love this guitar. Edu sent out a video. It was a private video to people that, I guess, the people that had purchased the un-amiga, and he had put together a memory card that sits on the header on top of the FPGA unit that's on this board. And what he was doing was running, he had a FPGA of the ZX Next running on this. It also would run, I think he also ran C64 or something like that on it. So this allowed you to switch between, this extra memory card let you switch between a couple machines, which would be cool. And I asked him what it was going to cost, and I think he told me it was like 17, 18 euros, something like that, pretty cheap. So if I kick the tires on this now, and I like the way it's working, I will probably get one of those memory cards, just because it'd be neat to be able to FPGA the Next. It'd be a kind of a shortcut to play with one of those. I don't have a ZX in the house, so it'd be nice to have one that I could, in some way that I could play with. So it'd be kind of neat. Well, I think we're gonna call it a night, fellas. I'm pushing my luck. I can't believe this thing worked all night in terms of the video setup, because I really had to struggle to make it happen. But hey, thanks for turning out. I appreciate everybody in the chat. We'll go back here. Rushi, Picard, Joe the Zombie. Hadn't seen him for quite a while. Del Morte was in. We've had a nice time playing this. I have anyway. Mr. Cole, of course, was in early on, and Rushi, Frodo. So we will. I've got a full-length video coming out. Oh, Brock, sorry, man. This is going right up on YouTube directly after, and will also, of course, be up on Twitch. But my first impressions are positive. I've had a real good time with it. I think the sound stuff, really, you've got to think all this sound's being pumped out of brand new hardware, and it sounds very nice, and it looks nice. And so it's really a matter of compatibility and how much of a hassle it is to get things done. And so far, the hassle has been low. Anywho, look forward in the coming week or so, I'm putting together a more thorough examination of the un-amiga. I'm going to put my little story in there, and me putting it together. Video. I shot some video of that, and I'll make a little video of it. There's so little video on the un-amiga that I figure I'll be the guy that puts some of it up. I know Doug is also working on something to get going on the un-amiga, since he picked one up as well, and his worked out of the gate, so he had a lot better experience than I did. Anywho, fellas, thanks for joining me. I will catch you guys the next time, and until then, adios.